Okay, this is going to be a controversial video, I think, to some, but what are we doing in Canada? This is in Toronto, Canada's largest city, and massive pro-Palestinian protest breaks out, which I have no problem with the protest in general, but listen to what they're saying here. I'm going to play this. So there is only one solution, Intifada revolution. And before I go to just this next part, I'm going to go, look how many people are in like this protest throughout Toronto. And like there are so many videos that came out today from this protest. So many people. So looking up the definition of Intifada here, armed uprising, rebellion. And I don't know how you justify saying things like long live the Intifada or there is only one solution, Intifada, revolution, as anything but like a call for war and just like violent in nature saying that. Yet thousands of people are chanting this in the streets of Toronto right now. And to be clear, like on my take on protests, I mean, you can have a debate if this is an incitement or not. I think that's a worthwhile debate to have, but I think people should have anything under like a call for violence. They should have a lot of free speech, and you should be able to do stuff like this just to have your views sort of out there, even if they're a little bit beyond the, like a little bit crazy. You should be able to say it so we can identify a problem in society or whatever. But I just think that there should be, the reason I make this video is there should be some kind of discussion, I think, about what does it mean to be a Canadian? And are we like okay with this? Why is this so? And I'm not saying okay with it from a stance of shutting it down, but just from a socially acceptable level. Why is this just seems to completely socially acceptable? This massive crowd of people. When have you ever? I've never seen a crowd of people this big for any protest. Like maybe the trucker protest. That would be like the one exception, perhaps, that's recently happened. But like this is so massive and where's like the shame in doing this, going into the street? And I don't care. This video is not supposed to be, I'm not saying I don't care, but I'm saying this video is not about the Israel-Palestine issue. So if you're coming to this video for kind of one side of that, that's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying, why is it socially acceptable for a ton of people to go into the middle of a street in public and basically chant for war? I don't like that. I don't think that's like necessarily the best way to go about it, for sure. I don't think that's necessarily a Canadian thing to be doing. I don't know why this is just totally socially acceptable. The only place you'll see pushback on this is Twitter or X. And I don't think the media really will cover this. It's just, oh, they're just saying, they just put a blind eye up. Like, oh, they're just saying that they're just expressing, I don't know, they have some justification for this. I think this is embarrassing, to be honest. Like, if you're someone coming into the street and you're just chanting for war, and again, any country against any other country, if you're in the street chanting for war, I think that's embarrassing. And I think people should be calling this out more and just saying, like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? Why would you do this? It's just, it's not the right way to go about it. I think a better way to go about it, to have this position, if you want to have a position of taking a stance on, in this case, like the Israel-Palestine conflict, do what I'm doing, or organize something where you're not chanting for war. Organize some measure. First of all, protest, but don't protest with calling for war. I think that's my stance for sure. And then the other thing would be, if you have a stance like this, make a video. Do it in a way where you're not just disrupting. People actually live in Toronto. Apparently there was another event that was supposed to happen in this young Dundas Square I saw, and obviously you can't have anything else going on there when there's massive amount of people are in there protesting. And I just have a huge issue as a Canadian person with just a call for war. And I think it's just, there should be some level of embarrassment. Like there seems to be no shame and no like hesitation from these people to just shout that out into the streets for all to hear. It's crazy. And again, so anyway, and like, what does it mean? What does it mean to be a Canadian from a stance of what kind of values, just like socially, do we want to have in this country? Because one thing I want to say is, do you remember Don Cherry? This elicited so much more outrage from the Canadian public. And to be clear, I wouldn't phrase it the way he does here, but this is like an 80-year-old guy, roughly, having a stance, and he got fired for this, and he got like publicly humiliated to a huge degree for what I'm going to play here. It's about 10 seconds.
You people love you that come here, whatever love you that come here, whatever you people love you that come here, whatever it is. You love our way of life. You love our milk and honey. And
so that was it. You people. And I want people to remember just how like vicious he was attacked for this. So on one hand, and again, I wouldn't say this necessarily the way he said it for sure, but he's basically saying that it's in some way a unifying message of being like, and he says people should wear poppies, but that like you come to, when you're in Canada, like some level of just appreciating the Canadian country that we all get to be happy to live in. And again, I wouldn't phrase it the way he's saying it, but he got fired for this. He got way more pushback than these people chanting for Intifada in the middle of a street in Toronto, and it's not even like the country that they're in. Just a foreign war. Intifada for the conflict going on in the Middle East. That's apparently socially acceptable. And to have like this 80-year-old dude say a politically incorrect comment, but it's not that crazy. It's just like, correct him. Just someone come on there and say, hey, Don, you could say it better. You could have a message where you say, okay, as a Canadians, we should be proud of, because he's talking about Remembrance Day. He's either wearing the poppies there.
at least you could pay a couple of bucks for poppies or something.
Yeah, so he actually says in that clip, wasn't sure, but this isn't that crazy. And he, like, the point I'm saying, our priorities in the country, don't say anything that could perceive, even the ticker here, like the banner, the Chiron, fired from Hockey Night in Canada after anti-immigrant remarks. Yeah, kind of. Like, they weren't great, but I don't think they were worth a firing, and I don't think they were worth, like, this massive campaign to humiliate the guy. So my point is, we in Canada are way more prioritized and, like, focused on not offending people, not offending, like, an immigrant that might be coming here, then we just have no, apparently, like, I don't know what the word would be, like, no Canadian, like, identity. Just come here and do whatever you want is essentially what you message when you get, when you can just chant Intifada, Intifada, but if you say the wrong phraseology because you're an elderly person, you people, you're basically trying to say, like, come here and then respect Remembrance Day because a lot of people died for the freedom that we enjoy in Canada. That gets you completely destroyed. His legacy tarnished. Unbelievable. And I mean, what does it mean to be a Canadian? I think I don't have the answer, to be honest, but I think it's maybe a question that we should maybe have that debate in public. And Canada, we are so soft right now, Canadians, if you're watching this. We are so soft. People are going to just, even the fact that you say, let's have a debate in public about what it means to be a Canadian, people are going to lose their minds when you say that. Canada is 10-ply soft. We need to stop being like this. And, like, just words are not going to hurt. Just talk to each other and figure it out. And again, I don't know, but one thing I also want to bring up here is just this kind of this mindset of, this is a very short clip. And I'm not making this video about an anti-Trudeau video, but he does come on here and give just a take about kind of the way Canada thinks about itself as a country. And it's a very short clip. And he didn't do necessarily Trudeau. I don't think that bad in this Colbert interview. I didn't mind it, but just this clip here, we'll play.
It's a range of people from every possible background who come together, and a little different from the melting pot in the United States where everyone gets to be American.
Yes.
So I'm not going to play too much because, by the way, the Colbert Show, like, totally blocks it. So that might even get blocked. Like, Colbert Show thinks they're the best show ever, but he kind of mocks there about, like, everyone gets to be American, like the melting pot. It's not the most, like, intense criticism of America, but what does that mean? And then they go on, just because I don't want to play more of the clip, but they kind of say everyone in Canada comes here, and then they get to, like, bring their culture. And he's saying the example he uses that people come here and they still speak Polish, for example, and like people come here and like they use like it's more of a mosaic instead of trying to become like Canadian. You kind of just come here and live your life. But I don't know, man. Like again, I haven't like I don't have a strong stance on this. I don't know which one's better, but I do sit. I will. My position definitely on the Intifada chants. I think that is incredibly like just embarrassing to do, and just to chat like got to have a better position in my opinion. Come up with a better way of conveying your point. Whether it's a video, you're writing an article, you just protest, but in a better way, like a better like a more structured way, a more productive way, that way that would be promoting peace. And I know on their side they'll be like, well, Israel does all this bad, terrible stuff to Gaza and all this stuff. And again, this point of this video, I'm not trying to get into that. I don't want people chanting Intifada or pro-war messages in public in massive numbers in the middle of a major Canadian city. That to me, and again, that's my position. I guess the strongest position I'd be taking, which I don't think that's that strong of a position. I think that's a bad look. I think it's embarrassing, and I think we should be free as Canadians to say, this is stupid. Don't do this. Figure out a better way to support your cause, to advocate for your cause. You should not be doing this. And again, the question of whether it's illegal or not, I think you should have maximum free speech. Without like inciting. The debate in my eyes here would be if that's an incitement or not. And I'm not going to have that debate in this video. But I guess just wrapping up, what does it mean to be a Canadian? And let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is this Intifada chant something that you do not like? Anyway, let me know whatever you think in the comments. If you made it this far, thank you for watching this video. Consider liking and subscribing. Have a great day.